now we need to go forward. And a couple of things here. When we think of Kawhi Leonard in Toronto, for me, put up a statue of the shot. It's an iconic moment. Put up a statue of the shot. Don't retire his number, but say we're not giving it out for a long time. Like, no one's going to wear 2 for the Raptors for a really long time.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully he doesn't have load management when the Clippers come to Toronto. Hopefully he plays here.
Well, I wouldn't. Don't bet on that.
And he gets a thundrous ovation.
Yeah.
I got nothing but good things to say about Kawhi Leonard. Last year at this time, you and I were on this show wondering if Kawhi Leonard would show up here.
Very true.
And there was no indication either way what he'd do, shockingly, with Kawhi. But he showed up. He played great. He transformed the franchise. He put a banner in the Raptors that'll never come down. And I think showed a lot of the young Raptors. Like, the effect of Kawhi Leonard on Siakam, on Anunoby, on a lot of the young players will be felt for a long time. Everyone who dealt with him talked about, we've talked to Nick Nurse about this, the professionalism of Kawhi Leonard. In the gym, on the floor, on the bench, everything about him. That'll be felt for a long time for the Raptors. I got nothing wrong with that. Where do they go from here?
Well, I expect it won't be to an imminent championship run, right? When you look at what Masai Ujiri is about, he's not a guy, especially now that he is a defending NBA champion, he's not a guy who's going to be happy with a team at his disposal that's got the ceiling of a round or 2. He's done that. He's been on that journey before. He's not interested in that anymore. So when you've got these 3 looming expiring contracts in Kyle Lowry, Gasol, and Ibaka, as much as all 3 of those guys can help you this season, there's no doubt, they've still got gas in the tank. Those are assets that you're best to move in the near term, because otherwise you're going to lose those guys for nothing. I don't think you want to re-sign those guys, given that your plan from here on out is probably looking toward 2021 free agency, when Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to be a free agent.
And might like the Danforth.
Well, you think it was a coincidence that all those Greek people showed up after that Bucks game a couple years ago and gave him that thunderous ovation?
Yeah.
And, sang songs with him and treated him like royalty? No, that wasn't a coincidence. And guess what? Talk about tampering. I don't know if it's tampering. Maybe it should be. But the Raptors were part of that, obviously. That community doesn't show up without the Raptors helping them show up. And Masai Ujiri's got an incredible relationship with that family, Giannis's family. Helped Giannis as a young player as he was emerging into a pro contract. So there's a relationship there. It's not going anywhere. And that will be, this is going to be this will be the Steven Stamkos, John Tavares conversation. Will Masai be able to sign Giannis between now and 2021?
The difference is those were Toronto guys. Those were Toronto.
Right.
Those were Toronto kids.
But there's only one Danforth, and he's the Greek freak.
So here's the thing for me.
I don't think there's a Danforth. I don't think there's a Greek town in Milwaukee. Let's put it that way.
Not that I've seen. There's one in Detroit, though.
Okay.
There's one in Detroit.
Good. Maybe Dwayne Casey will get on the bandwagon and try and recruit him to the Pistons.
There's a Greek town casino in Detroit. But here's the thing for me on Kyle Lowry. We talked about this last year. DeMar DeRozan, the all-time leader in games played for the Raptors, the all-time leading scorer by a lot for the Raptors. You could argue the most accomplished, if not the greatest Raptor of all time. After what we've seen here, Kyle Lowry now is.
Yeah, I wrote that after the finals.
You wrote a great column about Lowry's journey to get here. Trade Gasol if you want. Trade Ibaka if you want. To me, Kyle Lowry retires as a Raptor. I'm willing to say a declining Kyle Lowry, a diminished Kyle Lowry. I don't care. He retires a Raptor.
See, I like the sentiment there. It would be nice if that was a reality. The issue, Gordon, look, and I'm not saying that's off the table. That could happen, because we've traded Kyle Lowry out of Toronto many times, right?
Right. And you have.
And Masai did. Masai had a trade consummated with the Knicks. Don't forget that. This is somewhat of an accidental rise to being an NBA titleist and the greatest Raptor of all time, because when Masai first got here and first laid eyes on that guy, he didn't want anything to do with him. He wanted to trade him out of here, and he had him traded to the Knicks, and the Knicks nixed it at the 11th hour. But the bottom line is, Gord, as much as I love the sentiment, and I do think number 7 should be the first number retired in franchise history, in my opinion, because Kyle Lowry is the greatest Raptor of all time in terms of a career. obviously the greatest player they've ever had. Stayed for one season. His name was Kawhi Leonard. But in terms of having a career in a Raptors uniform, nobody's resume compares to Kyle Lowry's. Except the problem is he's getting deep into his 30s now. He's a point guard. He's got asset value now, and he's going to want another contract, and it won't be cheap.
Give him one.
And I'm not sure, but I don't think it dovetails into what you're trying to do here with a younger, different type of team.
And I know what would Bill Belichick do, and I get all that, and you've got to be remorseless, and you can't be emotional, and it's all that. They won a championship here. They delivered something, and this was not a place where NBA players wanted to be for a long time.
Oh yes,
and you were there for Vince's departure, and Chris Bosh did terrific work for us. During the finals, he was fantastic. We saw Vince want out. We saw Bosh want out.
Didn't you love it that they all wanted back in when the Raptors were making a run to the finals?
We saw McGrady want out.
Yeah.
We saw all that. And I don't hold one bit against Kawhi Leonard. He came here. He got traded here. He came here, played hard, and won. Best wishes to you. Shake your hand on the way out the door. No problem.
Exactly.
But I do think there's a culture now with the Raptors that needs to be preserved. And that part of that culture, a big part of it, is Kyle Lowry.
Except, I see where you're coming from on this, and I'm a bit torn on this myself. But I do think the problem with that is you're going to be stuck with a big number on a guy who's getting deeper and deeper into his 30s.
They're not going to be in cap trouble. I mean, who's kidding who? I mean, they're not going to be.
Well, no, but if you're going to sign Giannis in 2021, and this is just a hypothetical, if you're going to sign Giannis in 2021, and ideally somebody to go with Giannis, or you've got Siakam emerging as the true all-star that we all think he's likely to become in very short order, I'm not sure that's the point guard you need at $30+ million. So I'm not sure that's the kind of guy you're going to want on your roster. And the question is, Gord, here's the thing. Like, Kyle Lowry, his value is never going to be higher than it is right at this particular minute.